You are having a breakdown. Who are you going to call? Well, you might need a heavy recovery truck. And this WSI model is a Scania R Highline with a Falkom heavy recovery body. It is a limited edition in the colours of the Swedish company Dalarna. As usual for WSI, we have a standard windowed box, and inside the model is contained within a tray. It is factory sealed, so we get the knife out, cut the tape, and then we can lift the model out. There are also some other bits and pieces. For the assembly, there are some parts to add, and we start with a towing hitch, and it's not a job for anybody with salami-sized fingers. There's a metal securing pin to insert, and for that we're using some tweezers. Once the pin is in, we can fold it back to the open position, or close it up as if the towing hitch was going to be used. Another part to add is the frame on the wheel lift, and that gets secured in place with a brass nut and bolt. Now these are very small parts and no tools are supplied. So again, it's not the easiest job for anybody challenged with huge fingers. Once we've done up the nut and bolt, there's another small pin which goes in to secure the orientation of the wheel lift. We dive underneath for a look at the chassis, and as you'd expect, it's very detailed. It's an 8x4 and the gearbox and drive shaft are modelled. And again, as you'd expect, there are different tyres on the driven and steered axles. At the front, the truck is impressive. There's a light bar on the roof and a couple of small Michelin men. Below that, there's some nice sharp graphics. Of course, the big Scania name is there. And a particular feature of this model is the detailed bull bar. It is very nicely made and it looks really good. There's also an accurate number plate. The side of the truck has nice decoration, including graphics in the windows, and other details include the door handles and textured footplates. The wheels look good with their highlighted hubs, and the body has more sharp graphics and highlighted panel handles. These all combine together to give the model an attractive appearance. Moving up to behind the cab, and there's a light bar and a number plate, and the winches can be seen in the well. The detailing at the back continues with the graphics, and they are also used to indicate lights. There are other small details at the wheel arches, and there is Scania on the mud flaps. Starting underneath, and the rear axles spin freely. And at the front there is linked steering, but as you can see the range of movement is really quite small. Out on the Cranes etc. superhighway, and the truck rolls along reasonably smoothly, with the steering not stiff enough to hold a pose so it moves about a bit. But let's help it out and set the steering, and if we do that we can get a slight curve. Now this truck does not have a tilting cab, and the leaflet enclosed tells you that you might break the bull bar. At the back there is some interesting functionality, and that starts with the two grippers, and these can be pushed down so that the truck can maintain its position if it's pulling on the winches. Let's lower the frame that can be used as a wheel carrier, and it's also on a telescopic beam. If we're not using it, we can fold it up for transport. The whole arrangement can also be lifted up by a pair of hydraulic rams, and that also allows us to use the crane that's at the rear of the truck. It is mounted on a plastic telescopic beam, and there are two winches with plastic hooks. Here we've pulled them just to unwind them, but to do them up you use your finger or thumb on the winch drums. And again, that's not easy for those that are challenged with fat fingers. So let's now put our recovery truck to work. Here we've got a tractor that's in need of some help, and we'll move it onto the wheel frame. Once it is positioned, it is clear of the ground, But using the hydraulic rams you can raise it a little bit higher, and the rams are just about stiff enough to hold the pose. With the truck loaded we can then drive it away. Another way we can use the recovery truck is to use the winches, and here we use them to pull over a truck mixer that's been on its side. Heavy recovery trucks are an interesting vehicle, and this big Scania certainly looks attractive in the colours of Dalarna. It's got some nice functionality and it poses particularly well with other vehicles. So if you want something a little bit different for your heavy haulage collection, this one is very good.